News affecting long-term wealth management this week came from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. In a new long-term projection released Thursday, CBO issued a warning about the central fiscal challenge faced by the nation. At its current trajectory, the federal debt skyrockets to 150% of the size of the entire U.S. economy in 2047. The grim picture of the future intensifies pressure on the federal budget. If the growing debt continues to go unaddressed, it threatens to dampen the economic growth, limits the nation's ability to respond to unforeseen events, and increases the likelihood of a financial crisis. President Trump campaigned on a promise to reform taxes, but his plan to finance a tax cut was predicated on spending cuts to Medicaid and health care benefits. With the failure to repeal Obamacare, spending cuts expected to be used to pay for the promised tax cut suddenly disappeared, leaving no clear way to fund a tax cut. Complicating matters, two key legislators responsible for drafting new provisions to lower corporate and personal income taxes, House Speaker Paul Ryan and Kevin Brady, the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, are both on the record saying they will only support tax reform if it is revenue neutral. Revenue neutral means taxes cannot be cut without cutting spending an equal amount. If the government wants to spend on rebuilding the nation's infrastructure, it means cutting spending on other programs. The CBO report makes deficit spending less tenable, leaving the nation's leaders no easy solution to finance the tax cut without exacerbating the main fiscal challenge facing the nation over the long run. One solution is a BAT tax. While baseball season just began, coincidentally, House Speaker Ryan proposed the Border Adjustment Tax to raise revenue to pay for a tax cut. But the BAT tax has not been endorsed by Mr. Trump and could strike out. The BAT would slap a tax on imported retail goods, hitting low and middle-income consumers hardest and making it a rare proposal for a regressive tax. The BAT's not a hit with retailers, and Walmart and Target's lobbyists have come out swinging against it. Retailers are likely to pass off the cost of the BAT to consumers, with price hikes of 15 or 20%. The BAT is also widely expected to knock the dollar up by 20% versus major currencies and spark outcries of protectionism. So BAT is far from a sure way of financing a tax cut and may never make it past first base. CBO has released long-term projections of the budget periodically for many years, but release of its dire forecast complicates delivering the promised cut of federal taxes, which has implications in the near future for investors as well as over the long run. After President Trump reiterated his promise of a tax break in February, stocks rallied sharply to a new all-time high reached a month ago. Since then, the Standard & Poor's has remained within about 1.5% of its all-time high. If tax reform emerging from Washington is disappointing, a correction of 10 or even 15% could come at any time. But keep your eye on the ball and focus on what's important, like the long-term fiscal health of the U.S. and the current economic fundamentals. Economic data has been stronger than expected for many months, and consumers are in the best shape in years. Better than expected growth could propel stocks higher still. Long-term investors should not be distracted by near-term uncertainty and stay focused on what's beyond the next drop or surge.